Well, Ryan, here we are at Snetterton. An incredible weekend for you, jumping in a BTCC car.
Yeah, I mean, it was a dream come true. Always wanted to do it. 40 years old, raced since I was 8 years old. Never wanted to race F1 or anything else. It's always been British touring cars. Yeah. And I think a lot of people probably didn't see it coming, but it's always been in the forefront of my mind to end up here. Hopefully it's not a one-off. I want to try and press on to get a deal next year, maybe, or the year after. So yeah, it's just great to be here. Obviously we're in the deep end. I think the expectations are low. As long as I can improve over the weekend, I'll be more than happy. I'm just looking forward to getting out in the car.
Yeah, you're jumping in a Hyundai, replacing Creasy this weekend. How did that come about? What was it like when you got the phone call saying, "Hi Ryan, would you like to drive in the British Touring Car Championship?"
Well, it was Monday was a very whirlwind day, if you like, and me and Creasy, obviously, at a later point had a chat. I'd kind of heard that, he was kind enough to step aside for this one to, let me fulfil my dream of racing in the British touring cars, which, great credit to him and an unbelievable opportunity. I thought, well, I can't not do it.
Yeah. You're no stranger to touring cars, though, because you raced in TCR.
Yeah, so I've got a TCR Link & Co. We've had relatively, we've done 3 races in that. So I've got a feel for the car. I kind of understand these types of cars a little bit. Obviously the Hyundai is going to be a little bit different with its unique quirks and stuff that it will have. So I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself, but of course, once the belts are done up tight and you're at the end of the pit lane, obviously that natural racer instinct comes in where you just want to go out and do well.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first time they strapped you in the car for a shakedown, inside your race helmet, how big was the smile on your face?
Well, the first lap I went up and down, I was a bit like, oh, this is moving around a lot, and then after we got a little bit of temperature and stuff, I was like, yeah, this is just awesome. This is really good. Yeah, it just feels mega.
Does it feel very different from your TCR car?
Obviously you've got the stick shift as opposed to the paddles. Everything there are comparable differences. I remember when I'd done my test here in 23 in the wet, it was I remember the dampers being a lot better in the BTCC car. I think it's just a little bit more refined. It feels a bit lighter. It's difficult to say, obviously, just driving up and down the runway, but the car does feel good. It feels nice, yeah. Absolutely.
And various people up and down the paddock. In fact, Josh Cook very well, don't you?
I raced with Josh back in a class called Stock Hatch in the 750 Motor Club run in 2008 and 9. Back then he used to ask me if he could follow me around, and how times have changed. But it's mega to be back. It's kind of like our paths separated and then we've kind of joined back up again. So he gives me a lot of help. He driver coaches me in the TCR. He's a mega guy to have in your corner, and obviously a well-established driver.
You could do worse than getting a tow off him round here, couldn't you?
I don't want to get too close to him. We do, when we go karting, we have a habit of hitting each other, so I don't want to get too close to him.
Now, Michael Creasy, you've taken his seat here, but you've had an association with him for some time, haven't you, as a sponsor?
Yeah, so, with my mortgage business, we've obviously had a vested interest in Creasy and his racing. So when it sort of made sense for him when the deal all come about, I think that it was a natural selection to think, well, actually I can give some back.
The weather's changed a little bit since yesterday. It looks like it might be a bit greasy out there this morning. You're going to tiptoe round for the first few laps?
Yeah, just got to get my toe in, just see how the car feels, not do anything stupid the first few laps.
Oh, that's what it's doing.
Not do anything stupid the first few laps and just build the speed in. I think it looks like the worst case for me, it'd be ideal if it kind of stayed one or the other all day. It looks like qualifying might be the first time that I actually get to drive the car in the dry, which is proper deep end. But on the other side of that, the expectations are going to be low. If I'm near the back, I'm near the back. It's fine. I'm going to hopefully progress during the races.
That's a huge learning curve, isn't it?
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. I don't doubt that a couple of laps in it will all come.
Yeah. You mentioned just briefly that you were hoping you might be able to turn this into a more solid drive. Does that mean for this season, or are you looking for next season?
I think next season will be the aim. I own the TCR car that I've got, so I've got to put some things in place to get some funding available. So yeah, I like to be well prepared, which is a bit ironic given the circumstances that I'm entering this weekend. But yeah, I think next year the plan always has been to do British touring cars and be on the calendar with it. So
Creasy was due to do 5 rounds. We've only done 2. This is the 3rd round. Will you be seeing out the rest of what he was planning to do for the first half of the season, do you think?
I think he plans on being back in the car for Thruxton. That's certainly what he said to me. Obviously, you'd have to ask him as to whether he's definitely going to confirm that. Certainly from my side, at the minute, there isn't any intentions to do any other rounds at the moment. If the opportunity comes up, then I potentially could step in. Of course, I wouldn't turn it down. But yeah, I think the aim would be to get plans in place and funding for next year.
Brilliant. Really good to see you here, Ryan. Have a fantastic weekend, and you've now got to go off to a driver briefing, BTCC driver briefing. There's a smile on your face there.
Yeah, well, drivers briefings, you have them in any class, so yeah, I'm sure it'll be a joy.
Fantastic. Well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it.